Hello and welcome. So let's take a look at building another cryptocurrency trading bot with Python and the Binance API. This time we are following a very high risk strategy, so please note that I've extended the disclaimer. Please don't skip that part. So what is the idea? We are screening the whole Binance platform for the top performing coins over the last 24 hours. There are more than 1.6k pairs on Binance and we need to filter out some stuff here and there. Once we got the top performing coin, we are checking if this coin is still climbing. With that, we just want to make sure the coin is not yet crashing. If the coin is still climbing, we are buying. Then we are selling with a target profit and also set up a stop loss. Prerequisites, I'm just using some functions from previous videos, so I will link them in the video description. Important disclaimer, cryptocurrency and in specific automated trading is bearing a huge amount of risk and may result in a total loss of your invested capital. Cryptocurrencies are not regulated and the Python Binance API wrapper is not official. Even more important disclaimer, don't blindly follow my instructions. I'm providing you ideas and show you example trades. You need to do your own research, assess and manage the risk based on your own risk profile and make proper adjustments. Do not execute code you don't understand 100%. Losses are part of trading, that's the reality. Be aware of the risk you want to take. Additional disclaimer, this bot shown in this video might trade coins which could have a very low market cap or even could be fraud coins. The stop loss offers no security for your invested capital. It could happen that there are no buyers due to low liquidity or whatsoever. Please just see this as a project and really understand the high risk of the strategy. Alright, so as you see, I already did some stuff here. So I ran my Binance Keys notebook where I'm just storing my API key and my API secret. So you don't have to do that. I'm just doing that for data protection reasons. You're just defining your API key and your API secret within this notebook or whatever environment you are coding in. We are importing some stuff here, so we need the client to connect to our Binance account, we need pandas for data handling, and we need time to use the sleep function to avoid excessive API calls. Now, this is just creating the client, which enables us to pull data and also execute orders here, right? And in the very first step of constructing this bot, we want to get the top traded cryptocurrency, right? And to get an overview of everything what is traded in Binance, we can use client get ticker. And with that, we are getting something like this. So we are getting a symbol, ETH, BTC, and some information, right? LTC, BTC, some information, and so on. So to get a better overview of that, we could wrap that in a data frame, and we are getting something like this, right? So symbol here, and some information here, right? And I'm storing that in a variable here, which I'm just calling X. And the first thing I am amending here is I don't want to trade those pairs. I just want to have the pairs which are in relation to the US dollar, right? Or the US dollar Tether coin, which is just a stable coin representing the US dollar value. And how can I do that? By just filtering this symbol column for all values which are containing a USDT. So we can just create a Boolean mask by using string contains and then USDT here. And then we are getting something like this. So to get the updated data frame, we can just index for that Boolean mask and we are getting something like this. All right. Okay, so let's store that in Y. And now we need to filter out some further cryptocurrencies which I wasn't quite aware of. So there are leverage tokens, and you need to fulfill a certain level of verification on Binance, which I'm currently not fulfilling. So I'm filtering them out. Maybe you want to trade with them, then you are keeping them in, but I'm filtering them out. And leverage token is containing an up or a down value within this symbol column, right? So for example, IOTA up USDT is a leverage IOTA up token. You also have down tokens, right? And what I'm doing now is just filter them out. So I'm defining a new variable Z here where I'm filtering those out, right? No worries. I'm wrapping that all in a function in some seconds, but I think it's pretty hard to understand if we are not doing that step by step here. So we can just use y, and then we're using a tilde, which is indicating I don't want to have something, and I don't want to have those which contain an up or a down string here, right? Down. Okay. Give me a second. Okay. Okay, now we have only the symbols without leveraged tokens here, right? Or not the symbols, but the assets without those leveraged tokens here, right? And to get the top symbols now, we could just sort the data frame by the price change percent. By the way, this is the price change percent over the last 24 hours here. And we could sort this data frame, right? Sort values by, then take the price change percent column here and set ascending to false. And now you're getting the cryptocurrency which was going quite insane over the last 24 hours. So I don't even know this token here. So this is a possibility, and you can use that to also trade the second highest, third highest, and so on, right? But we could also just take the max value, right? So we could also just take that price change percent max, and then we can just index for that. So we could just take that price change percent max, and then we're getting a Boolean mask again, and we can just index for that and get the token which was rising the most over the last 24 hours. Okay, and of course this is dynamic, right? So every time when we are calling this getTicker function from Binance, we could get another asset here, right? This is important because some assets may outperform other ones here, and so this is pretty dynamic. When we are calling the getTicker function, this can change. So maybe it doesn't if I'm doing that now, but maybe we are lucky. No, it doesn't change now, but it will in some minutes or seconds. Just play a bit around with that, just trust me here. Okay, now I think you got the point, right? So we want to get this symbol. Now let's wrap that all up in a function. So I'm just getting rid of all those cells, and I'm just creating a function here, get top symbol. And now, first of all, we are getting all pairs. As said, this is just using the getTicker function. Then we are screening for the relevant pairs, which are just all pairs which contain a USDT value. I shouldn't have deleted all stuff, otherwise I could copy paste now, sorry for that. So we have this. Now we are getting the non-leveraged tokens. Quickly copy pasting from my other screen here. By filtering those out. And okay, now we have our non-leveraged tokens here, and then we just want to have our top symbol, which is our non-leveraged. Then we're just screening for the price change percent column and set that to the max of this data frame, price change percent dot max. And with that we are getting first of all only the row here. So we are just using symbol to get the symbol column here, and then screen for let's do that a bit different. Let's just define that like so, and then let's just reassign that. Otherwise we have a just too long cell here, right? So we're just taking top symbol and then symbol, and then we're taking the values out of that, and we are returning our top symbol. Alright, so let's call that so that you understand how this function is working. So if I'm calling that get top symbol, yeah, did a mistake here, just a typo. And now we see we're getting this UTK USDT, never heard of by the way, but I'm not that much into altcoins, to be honest. Anyhow, now we are defining our getMinutedata function, but I've covered that in many videos. I'm just copy pasting them from my other screen. This is just pulling data for the last X minutes for a certain time interval. So I'm just copy pasting them here. I will link a video where I have explained this function in the video description, but I'm showing you how this function is working. So if I'm calling that getMinutedata and provide, let's say my top symbol asset, and just pull that for a 1 minute interval and go back 120 minutes, I'm just getting a data frame like this, all right? So this is important because we need this data frame to confirm the uptrend. Okay. Now, what I'm also covering in this video, as some of you ask, how can I trade a certain amount and not a quantity? We are using that in the upcoming function, but I'm quickly showing you how this is working. So let's just assign that to XY here. And to get the quantity you have to buy, you can just use, so you have to round this, then take a quantity you want to, amount of dollar you want to buy. So let's say we want to trade $200. We can just use that and divide that by the most recent close price here, right? So I don't even have to assign that. I'm just printing that out like so. So for this asset UTK something, we would have to buy, or we could buy 489 tokens here if we would invest $200 here. So I wanted to cover that in this video as well. All right, now let's define our strategy. So we are creating a function for that. This function is taking the amount you want to invest in US dollar, buying amount, is taking a stop loss limit. We are just taking 1.5% here, and we're taking a target profit of 2%. And we are setting the open position to false in the beginning. Now, first of all, we are pulling the top symbol, but we want to implement a try and accept block here. Reason behind that is there are upcoming error messages due to too many API calls here. So To avoid that, we are working with try and accept. So we are first of all defining our asset by just calling our get top symbol function. And also we are pulling the data by getminutedata data of the asset, taking 1 minute time steps, and we're going back 120 minutes. And if we are getting an error, we just want to wait 60 seconds. So let's take 61 just in case. And then we are just pulling the data again. So this should result in no errors here. So not should, but I've tested it the last couple of days, and this is the best way to handle the errors. Anyhow, now we are defining our quantity by just rounding as just shown the buying amount, and then divide that by the last close price, which we are getting when pulling the getminutedata data frame. So we're just taking the most recent close price here. All right. And now we're just checking if the asset is still in an uptrend. So we are checking if the cumulative returns over the last 120 minutes are positive, right? And I've covered that in other videos on my channel, so I will link them in the video description. So we are just taking the relative changes of the assets, add a 1 to that, and then take the cumulative product. And we are also screening for the very last entry here. And if that is larger than 1, then we want to buy the asset. So we are creating an order here. Define the symbol as our asset, which we are getting when pulling the top symbol out of the Binance assets in relation to the US dollar, and no leverage tokens. Define the site as buy, and the type as market. You can also use limit orders, of course, right? I'm just taking, for the sake of simplicity, I'm just taking market here, but limit orders are better. Okay. Now, once we have placed an order, we want to print that out to get some information, and we want to get a buying price. So I've covered that in many videos before. I'm just taking the dictionary resulting out of the order confirmation and search for the price and typecast that into a floating value so that we can calculate with that. So we're just taking fills, index for 0, and then take the price. Okay. Once we've done that, we are just setting the open position to true, as we have an open position now. And while this open position is true, so we can just check while open position, then again we want to pull data. So again we have to use try here. We can just copy paste, but instead of pulling the data of the last 120 minutes, we're just taking the last 2 minutes here. And if something goes wrong, we want to have a feedback. Something went wrong. Script continues in 1 minute. So of course this is a certain risk, right? Because we are in an open position and our script is pausing and it's not screening for for the development of the asset. So this is an advantage of the WebSocket or the BinanceSocketManager, right? Because there you don't have that. We will code that in some minutes, but for now we have to deal with that. So we are pausing the script for 1 minute and then pulling the data again. Okay. And now we want to get some feedback here. So we want to have the current close price, for example. Current close is then we can just take the last entry of our data frame, which we have pulled here. And also we want to have the target profit. We can just use the buy price, which we have defined above, right? Which is a floating value, so we can calculate with that, times our target, which is an argument of this function above here, right? So that we're getting the current target, and we also need the current stop loss. Current stop is, and same logic, we're just multiplying with SL, which is an argument of this function. Okay, and now we just have to define the conditions. So if the close price is smaller than our buy price times the stop loss, this is the not preferred way, right? Or, and this is the desired way, or if that is larger than the buy price times the target profit. And then we want to place the selling order, right? So I'm copy pasting here to save some time. So order, side sell, market. Again, you can, or it's even better if you're taking a limit order. Here I'm taking a market order, but yeah, you can also place a limit order here. Okay, and once we have placed the selling order, we want to have the feedback again and then break the while loop. All right. Okay, so let's execute that, and let's actually zoom a bit out so that you can see the whole construct here. All right. Okay, and now we want to test that. Another bot is running on my other screen. Just have to stop it quickly. Okay, now how do we run this bot? We are using an endless loop here, and then just call the strategy and provide the amount here, right? So we don't need to define the other arguments here, as they are already default arguments here, right? But if you want to change it, you are changing them when calling this function. Run it like so, and now we are getting the buying confirmation of, I don't know this coin. I don't even try to pronunciate that. So we have bought this asset, and then the selling triggers are activated, right? So we're just getting updated information here. So close. So it's probably pretty hard to read. Let me quickly do it like so. And now we're just getting a stream here, right? So, and this trade can either go in the direction. So let's take an example. Current close is 1.50 something. Target is 1.3. Stop is 1.48. And yeah, we will see where this is going. But while this is running, I want to show you how you can do that, because I got a lot of comments in my last video. You didn't really like that I am using this historical data API call as my stream. So as an option, I'm showing you how you can use the BinanceSocketManager to also code the strategy. So I'm just showing you what you have to do here. So first of all, you need the create frame function. So I've introduced that in other videos. I will link them in the video description again. And what you also need is to import the BinanceSocketManager. So I'm just copy pasting that from my other screen currently, by the way. Then set up the BinanceSocketManager. And then you are, so I'm also copy pasting that and explain that to you. So it's from the logic, it's the exact same thing with some amendments. So let's go through that together. So first of all, you need a async function and not a normal function here. Why is that? Because inside this function, we're using a wait statement. By the way, if you're not using Jupyter, you have to do some amendments, which I've explained in another video, which I will also link in the video description. So this is the same, right? The top symbol we are still getting via a direct API call, right? So I didn't put the df here in the try except block, but probably it's better to do so. But anyhow, what's different here? So this is the same, right? Now the setting condition is a bit different. So while this position is open, we are using the await call on the socket, and then we are receiving a message, and the socket is defined here, and this is just a trade socket of the asset we are pulling here, right? And with that, we are just receiving data, and this create frame function is transforming this data into data we can calculate with, right? And this data is a bit different than the data frame you saw before. So for example, the price column is not called close, but price. And yeah, that's basically already it. I'm just using values here. And the rest is the same, right? And how would you call this function, at least in Jupyter? Also with an infinite loop, but instead of calling this function like so, you have to put a wait in front of it, right? So this is the way you would do it with using the BinanceSocketManager. I think some of you prefer this way, and I honestly am also preferring this way. Okay, so let's take a look at if we got hit a condition here. All right, there is the selling condition. So we are hitting the stop loss limit here. So current close is below the stop loss limit, and therefore we are selling the asset, as you see here. So I'm getting an error message here. This is only a keyboard interrupt because I manually stopped this script. Now let me show you how this is looking like for using the BinanceSocketManager. All right, so let's execute this, then execute that, and let's call that. And now we've bought MDX, don't know what that is, and pretty similar here, right? So yeah, this is just, don't worry about it, this is just an array format. This is why we're just getting those brackets here. Yeah, same logic as before. So close is 1.602, target is 1.639, and stop is 1.58. So yeah, I think this is nothing exciting. I let the script run in the morning, so I'm going over some trades with you. So this is running, maybe we are lucky, and this is triggering a sell condition in the next couple of minutes. So I'm making another cut here. So some trades in the morning. So you see the timestamp here. So this was a bad trade. So these are just partially executed trades. This was a good trade. This was a good trade. And yeah, this was a manual trade I had to make while because of a certain error in the script. Right. So let's take a look at the script again, if we are getting any output. So yeah, doesn't look bad, but I don't want to extend this video, or it's climbing right now. Okay, so even after some minutes, we still don't have any results here. So we didn't cross any of those two thresholds. But anyhow, I thank you very much for watching. I hope this was interesting for you, maybe adding value for you. Yeah, be kindly invited to let me know what you think in the comments below. And as always, I'm looking forward to seeing the upcoming videos. Bye bye.